Welcome to the Nancy Perspective, where every story is a reminder that life's hardest battles often belong to the kindest hearts. Today, I have an incredible pleasure of sitting with someone that has shown up in my life on many occasions. Ghada and I met probably 4 years ago at Royal LePage when I was sitting in a meeting, and her husband, Bassem, came in to talk about the incredible passion that he has for photography.
Yeah.
And I will say his passion exudes from every bone in his body.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he brought in his incredible wife, who quietly walked in, allowed him to introduce her, said hi, and left. And yet I knew there was something in her that she wasn't showing me. And I was very intrigued. And yet I don't think we really connected much at that point, except I knew who you were. A couple years later, all of a sudden we're put together again.
Mm-hmm.
This time, different connection. Like, felt it you?
Yeah.
From the moment I walked in, I hugged you like I'd met you many times before. And here we sit today after working together on many occasions now. And I feel like when I put the call out for my podcast, there was this little voice that came over my messenger and said, I'd be open.
Yep.
And now here she is, nervous and afraid, and yet a powerhouse. So what I'd like you to do is introduce the world to who you are and why you're here and why you said yes to me. Even though it sounded scary. And when she walked in the door today, she wanted to leave. She was like 10 minutes before, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
I was sitting in the car, like debating, should I just text her, like cancel that? Well, introduce me to the world.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Wow, you're welcome. No pressure.
No pressure at all. So first of all, thank you so much for the introduction.
My passion.
I'm honestly, I don't know if I'm worth any of your nice words, but you know that I love you. There is a connection, a powerful one.
Absolutely.
Ever since I've met you a few years back, and it just every time video you post is like, I connect. It's like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the short answer for your questions.
Yeah.
Your short videos is like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what we are gonna talk about right now.
Yeah.
But everything that you've been talking about in your shows is like, it hit somehow.
It hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to.
Yeah.
I'm Ghada.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm a wife, a mother, and lately we have started our own business with me and my husband, and that's it. I honestly, I don't think of anything else other than that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tell me about that business. What is it that you bring to the world? Because you do it with passion and ease, and there's huge purpose behind everything that you put out. So tell us about what that is.
I will start by your sentence about Bassem and his passion about his. So honestly, just to disclaimer.
Yeah.
So our business is a real estate media business. It's a company that can provide all services for all agents about their listings, whether it's photography, drones, videos, you name it.
Yeah.
And that actually was a passion for my husband, he started more than a decade ago.
Yeah.
He started photography department in one of the real estate brokerages, and at one point we had to move out.
Yeah.
So him at 50 plus, me late 40s, is like starting from scratch. Was a scare.
I bet it was.
Yeah. It was.
Resilience is both of your superpowers.
Yes.
Big
That
time.
is, I didn't know I had it.
I know. I know. We don't know where it is.
As you said before the show is like I was the quiet one, so
Yeah.
I didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah. It
yes,
is
we did.
definitely in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is in there.
Yeah.
So we started our own business. I think by April it's going to be 2 years.
Yeah.
Bassem is so passionate about
Yeah.
his business. I've been working with him for 8 years before our business, and then 2 years now. So it's 10 years,
Wow.
decade now. What we do it with love.
You do with love. Yeah.
And we're very dedicated. We're very hard work.
Yeah.
That's the worker about it, and that's why I think everyone is noticing it and
Yeah.
feels it, because
Love is a feeling.
yeah,
Passion and purpose come out through the product because it comes from love.
exactly.
And I remember meeting Bassem, and in that meeting,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, he talked so much about the photo for about an hour on one photo, about all the little things he did. And I really didn't think they meant anything until you truly understand why.
His passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even tell you the amount of time that he spends, because I do the edits
Of
now
course you
and the
do.
photos
Yeah.
and everything. So he tries to explain to me one certain
Yeah.
aspect of ratio in one certain photo that no one will notice.
Yeah. But to him.
To him and to our business, and I have to say is like this ratio.
Yeah.
That's what differs us from.
Of course it does. Yeah. But I think there's something really important that we need to bring light here, because it's not about the business and the love of what you do. It's the fact that the two of you work together.
Yes.
And extremely different personalities. How long you been married? Can I ask that?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's like I've lost count.
Yeah.
So we've been together actually since 97.
Wow.
Do the math.
So
like
30 years almost.
Yeah.
27,
Oh,
28.
yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a big moment for me. I don't normally calculate math.
Yeah.
What has kept you together in family and work? Because the dynamic is an incredible dynamic.
So there was a saying that when you take care of things, they last.
Yeah.
And this is me and Bassem. We take care of each other. Sometimes with love, sometimes like even when we are arguing about something in work or home, we still care.
Yeah.
So that's why we still go strong together.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens is like we know that the family comes first.
Yeah.
We care about each other. I drive him crazy.
But he is good. I love you, Bassem, but he's also
he drives me.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in our mind is like we belong together.
Yeah.
We actually, he was mentioning this story in the morning for the kids. I was laying in the couch, and I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
They're not kids anymore.
How old are they?
25, 23, and 19.
Wow.
And the 3 of them was lying on top of me.
I love this.
So yeah, this is how
your family is.
Yes,
yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So so Bassem, he was joking about it, and he was mentioning when the first time I had a C-section with Habiba, and I was dead tired at the hospital.
Yeah.
And he was there for me.
Yeah.
He was for the 3 nights. He was there. He took care of me, and he reminded me of a moment. It's like a really cozy moment where I couldn't go up. I couldn't go from my bed to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So he carried me.
Oh
my And actually, this is the moment I always remember. He doesn't know that. Now he knows, and everyone else
my heart just like totally
in the world. But actually, this is the moment I always remember whenever he does something that drives me crazy. I remember that he took care of me, and he still is.
Can I ask how you met? Or so when I look at strong relationships, especially like what you have and the care and love that you have, I often wonder, did you both have the same growing up? Were your parents of similar to the two of you? or did you grow up differently and choose differently? Can you share that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Bassem is okay. So I don't know how to say that,
Yeah.
but yeah, my upbringing was kind of strict,
Yeah.
very
Okay.
strict, I would
Yeah.
say. His is not as much.
Okay.
I was originally and still am
Yeah.
a friend of his sister,
Okay.
Sally.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is how we met. So he
Ooh.
was, yeah. So he's always there when I visit, and I didn't visit much because I had a very strict upbringing. It's like I was
Okay.
not allowed to go to a lot of friends, but that was actually the only of two friends that I was allowed to go to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
In Cairo.
In Cairo.
Cairo, Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you come here?
I would say 22, 23 years ago.
Okay. All right. So did you meet him here?
No.
Or you met him there?
Yeah, in Cairo, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So very strict.
Yeah. So his parents was not as much.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I don't know how to say, but it's like we're both through time.
Yeah.
We grow closer together.
Yep.
Because when we moved here, that I'm the only one he has.
Yeah.
And he's the only one I have.
Again, it's funny how, or I chuckle when you say you didn't know how resilient you are.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been resilient your whole life.
Yep.
To step out and to come here alone.
Yeah. That
even
was tough.
Yeah,
Definitely,
with him. What, it's great that you had him, but what kept you going? What's the strength within you that, I've said this to you, I see it. There's a power in you that you might be a little shy, but there's something in with you that keeps you burning very bright. What keeps you going?
Honestly, I have been in the search for it. I know I have it.
Yeah.
I was so shy that,
Yeah.
as you say, I was so shy. I was always the quiet one.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm in a room, I would definitely just, I'll be the listener.
Observe.
Yeah, I will observe. I will take in the energy, but trust me, you should take care of the quiet ones.
Because you see everything.
I see everything. I observe everything.
Yeah, you know everything.
So by the end of any meeting, I would know what is going on, what's the energy, who's gonna say what should be done, and everything. So I don't know honestly what keeps me going other than love.
Yeah.
I honestly love everyone.
Yeah.
I wish no one harm.
Yeah.
And this has been my main fire
is love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've gone through a journey myself where for a long time I stood out of, how do I say this? Out of connection with love. I felt love, but I definitely lived from a different place, more of an ego, or, a place that I felt separated from the world. And as I have found and unraveled my healing, this word love is very present within. And now that it's there again, and I see how powerful it is the light that we all have. And you've carried it regardless of your heart. And that's pretty powerful, right? To say and feel out loud. And I'm sure you've gone through a lot in your life, but to carry it like you do is quite something to be very proud of. I hope you acknowledge that within self, right? I think that's a very important thing.
Yes, I would honestly say that there were few eras in my life that love was not there.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I want to kill you.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not talking about my husband here. No,
I know.
I was like, about situations in my life when I encountered a lot of injustice, and I couldn't understand it. And one of which I would remember is like right after my mom died.
Yeah,
she had cancer for a few years, And of course, she suffered a lot. And she was in Cairo, and I had to travel every few weeks to check
Yeah.
on her. And
I
I don't
can't
know.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I knew that she didn't have much time left for the next scheduled travel to Egypt. Pandemic hit and
Yeah.
everything,
Oh, wow.
and she died.
Wow.
So I didn't get to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I didn't get to see her for a few months because
Yeah.
the airport shut down from I remember it's like was in March, late March till June or July.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get any time to. So
Mm.
it killed me,
I bet it
and
did.
the injustice, and I felt like I felt rage and
Yeah, I bet you did.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that you say that, because I don't know about you, but I felt as a person that carried love, feeling rage was an uncomfortable thing,
Yes, it was.
right? And it's not
It
an
was.
emotion we like.
No, it actually it's I ended it when I figured out it's like it's burning me. It's like
It
it's
is.
I have to stop this.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is for a reason.
Yeah.
And I had to switch the energy, but I had to acknowledge it.
Yeah. It's acknowledge and accept, right? I think for me, like you, I brought a lot of love, and I hid a lot of the emotions I didn't want
Yeah.
anyone to know. But then I realized, I remember reading a Dr. Phil, Oprah magazine. At the very back was a Dr. Phil. Do you know Dr. Phil?
Yeah,
He was,
absolutely.
yeah. So he wrote this thing about forgiveness,
Yeah.
and anger. And it said, and I'll never forget it. I had it and I was reading it and I said, fuck you, Dr. Phil. And I put it down because it said, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself.
Yeah.
And if you are holding anger for others, it's eating you,
Yes.
not
Yes,
them.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I went, oh.
Well, but I have a say on that. Okay.
Yes.
So right now I feel no anger.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not forgiving. And that's
yeah, fair enough.
You know what?
And I think it's a time and place for, right? And sometimes that's okay.
But it's okay. It is okay, not to forgive someone because he did whatever to you or your life. It is okay.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't make you childish or whatever. No, it's my right.
Sometimes we must hold that.
Yes,
right?
It's my right.
Because
and if you hurt me 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, whatever, is like.
Do you know what I want to talk about this and acknowledge it, because there's many people like us that live from a place of love that also get taken for granted over and over and over. And there's this thing that I've discovered in this last 2 years after people have like slammed me to the ground over and over and over.
I'm sorry, hold on.
Grateful for it. Wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
I have forgiven because I just realized that forgiveness is my gift. But I will tell you that I have these things called boundaries.
Okay.
I have these things called, I see it now, even when it's coming. Do you see it now? Like, if you sit in awareness, and like you said, you sit and observe, I bet you've already seen it many times.
Yes.
But you just don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool when we know that, but yet we continue to accept it and let it in.
I know. Actually, that's the ongoing argument with me, my best, because honestly, and my social media, I find the people like us is like when who talk from love and with love, they have a very light energy.
They do.
And they get affected so easily with anyone around them.
Very sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The empath people is like where I can take whatever you have and I feel it deeply and it affects me and affects my energy. So I've learned by age, honestly, and by experience, is like I have to keep my distance a little bit so I won't be affected by any of these energies.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, but Bassem is a strong one. He's like, no, I can see that, and I can talk to that, and it will not affect me. Good for you, but it's not for me.
I think and I don't like to discern gender, right? I really don't. But there is something different about the brain of a masculine energy and the brain of a feminine energy. And I've talked to many, I don't know how to describe this, masculine energies. I'm going to describe it like that, where they have that ability to separate the emotions.
Yes.
And it's interesting. I don't know if you're like this, but at work, I can separate emotion. But at home or outside in my real world, I cannot.
Exactly. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. So I'm starting to learn how to take that work energy and apply it in other aspects because I realize that I'm very worthy of that.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to work, it's very
You're very good at it.
professional.
Yeah,
I'm very professional. I was like, unless you are really disrespectful to
absolutely.
me,
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah.
It's like nothing that she can do will affect me or
Yeah.
my energy because it's professional, it's work,
Yeah.
it's work boundaries. It's like I don't take it out of this circle.
Yes.
But yeah, if it's
Personal.
social life or personal,
Yeah.
I feel like that's I would say the shit.
Yeah. So you're allowed to swear on this. I say fuck a lot, but I don't say it as much anymore, which is really good.
Okay,
You let those words out. You let those words out.
Okay, I would say that's the shit that I don't have to handle. I don't have to worry about in my personal life. So I just eliminate it altogether.
Yeah. And I think it's for me, I'm learning how to bring both together because I'm realizing that as a feminine energy in this world, I think it's important. And I see it in you too. I think there's, that opportunity of balance and accepting that we can be both.
Yeah.
But I've also realized, so I spent 3 years in real estate, and why I've realized it's not for me or I've shifted differently right now is because I don't know that I want to be capable of leaving my emotions behind.
Yeah. And honestly, the real estate business, and I speak that from the heart.
I understand, because me too.
It's very, very stressful.
It is very stressful.
And I feel it for all the agents that we deal with. And whenever it's like someone calls me or texts me and he's on the verge of breaking down or he's a little bit tense or stressed, I totally understand, because it's like it's dealing with customer service, dealing with a lot of people,
dealing with other agents,
it is homeowners, lawyers, is like, that's a lot of stress.
It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of emotion. It's not what I expected to be. I'm grateful for it, but I will say that again, if my superpower is emotion, that's not the right fit for me, because being able to separate those things is really big and important, right? What amazes me, and what we're getting to the end of the first session with you. We're going to do a part 2 as well. But what's amazing to me is the fact that you have been able, as a human being, to sit in a room quietly and take on so much and feel that energy. And I think in the next session, I'd like to dive into that a little bit more if you're open. Are you a believer in the power of energy?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's been a guide for you for a very long time?
100%.
Yeah. And
100%.
I think, what is your experience with energy? Can I ask you that?
If I start talking about it, you will think I'm crazy. So
yeah, so we're going to start talking about that crazy in the next episode, because I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you're here, because I am a firm believer in energy, and I don't know that I always was. Were you?
So that's the thing. Energy can be named a lot of names.
Of course it can.
Okay, so in my younger version of me, it was called faith, or a believer. Or right now, it's that plus I know it is energy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I have always had it.
Do you feel like that's led you to where you are right now?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why we sit together. I think that's why your resilience shines through. And I think that's why this discussion, already being so powerful, will remain powerful in the next session.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this before we end this one. Based on what we've chatted about, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with right now as to a way forward, as to a belief that you believe has helped you move through your moments of resilience?
I would say always stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
I've spent years and years trying to fit in, bend, and to fit a
Yeah.
mold. It didn't work out.
Yeah, me too. Turns out I don't fit into a box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the powerful thing is that you're unique, and the sooner that you know that everyone is unique,
Yeah.
and embrace your uniqueness, is the sooner you will get where you want to be in life.
Yeah. And the minute you veer from that, all you're going to get
Yeah.
is a pullback of why.
And the negativity that you will get because you're not fitting in and you're not being yourself, and it's like it's a loop.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's a cycle that never ends, and it's a cycle that, again, awareness and resilience
Yes.
become the superpower in allowing
Exactly.
you to move forward.
Exactly.
So with that, I think we're going to end our first session, and we're going to resume in our second one. But for now, I want to thank you for being so courageous. I don't feel like that was as bad as you made it to be.
No,
Am I
it was
right?
not. It was not.
And I look forward to continuing this discussion in our next session.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.